All right, we're back live with you tonight. Clear off my desk here a little bit, at least this corner that people can see. But tonight we've got a couple things I want to cover. We're gonna kind of go a little faster tonight. We're gonna hit 8 stories tonight. I want to give a little bit of insight, but I think these are very interesting stories. I want you to hear kind of how I think they will affect things going forward. We're gonna cover all kinds of things tonight: USF stuff, Clearwater trying to take back over their town culture, and a couple other things. Also, Aldi's takeover of the state, which is kind of fun to me. We'll get into that. I'm a nerd about certain business things, and you'll see it come out tonight. But tonight we are going to hop right into a few things. Anyone in the comments want to jump in and tell me where you're coming from? I always love that as we build these lives out. I was just at Sprouts with my family, grocery store, and usually when I do these lives, I take a couple hours kind of in between work and hopping on here with you guys, spend time with the family. We ran to the grocery store. My oldest 2 kids are really into doing anything on their own. So they're 7 and 4, and they took a cart and just went off and had their own list and had these things they needed and did a lot for us. It's fun. But some guy that works at Sprouts came up to me and stopped me and said, "Hey, are you that real estate YouTube guy?" He said, my wife and I watch you all the time. So that was Sal. Shout out to Sal at Sprouts in Trinity. Super fun to meet people that get value out of the channel. And that's why we keep doing this. And that's another reason we're adding these lives, to make sure we're adding more value to locals, which is super, super fun to me. Now, I haven't been a local that long. Some locals might even say I'm not a local. I don't care. But this is my home. I'm happy that it is. Happy to continue adding value to it. But let's hop right in here to some stories. First up tonight, we're going to talk about USF. USF's Board of Trustees unanimously approved a 15% increase in out-of-state tuition, marking the second hike in just 6 months. Undergraduate non-resident tuition will jump from $381 to $466 per credit hour, starting in the fall of 2026. Though USF will still have Florida's lowest out-of-state rates. What do you guys think of this? Will this impact how international students and out-of-state students can come and participate here in Tampa? But one of the bigger things is this will make more money for the school for a couple things. Now, we're going to go here to the article and share more specifics on that. But another thing that this will indirectly create is more tuition opportunities for in-state students. Florida has really good in-state tuition. My wife and her brothers went to in-state schools. I was on a call with a new client today that's actually a student at University of Florida looking to buy his first investment property. And his tuition is so affordable in-state. And I like that. Now, I would encourage kids to go out of state, whatever. But this could help kind of shift some of that balance. But USF has other things in mind. So let's go to the article here. And this is their second cut, or second increase in the past 6 months. So this will go to all kinds of things, but this is the biggest thing: is that it will increase the projected revenue from $37 million at the undergraduate level to $42 million, and then from 12.3 to 14.1 at the graduate level. This additional revenue will be distributed to support student success initiatives, academic programs, student services, and USF's broader academic mission. So that's a lot of jargon. Who knows really where it goes? Like let's keep track of it. But this is a really interesting thing, that USF is pretty far behind other schools in this. So that puts their tuition per credit hour at $466 for undergraduate non-resident students. When you compare that to the University of Florida, that's $777 per credit hour. So we're still $300 cheaper than University of Florida. UCF, the biggest college in the country, in Orlando, they're at $562 per credit hour, so we're about $100 cheaper. And then FSU is at $529, so we're about $50, $60 cheaper than them. But we are still just cheap in that regard, and I think it has helped attract international and out-of-state talent, and really fueled the medical system here in the Tampa area. but maybe the school is good enough now to where we don't have to incentivize like that. I hope that's the case. I'm curious what you guys think of this big increase in USF out-of-state tuition. Next, we're going to go a little more local. We're going to go Wesley Chapel. Now, Wesley Chapel, obviously a popular suburb, but one of the original anchors of this area was the Saddlebrook Resort. Big golf resort, couple golf courses, a hotel, houses, 480 acres. This is more on the northern side of Wesley Chapel, and this is kind of an anchor to that area. A lot of the homes around it are older, and this was really before Wesley Chapel was anything. But there are new owners since 2022, and they're doing some pretty cool stuff with the Saddlebrook Resort, and they're just renovating the whole thing. But a quick look back at their roots, this resort opened in 1981 and became one of the first major destinations in what is now fast-growing part of Pasco County. Longtime owner Thomas Dempsey purchased the property in 1988, and the resort built a reputation around golf, tennis, and group events. So these new companies that bought it, Mass Capital and AMZAC Capital Management, tied their plans to a major property-wide renovation budgeted at about $92 million. To help fund their work, the partnership secured a $72 million loan. Of course, they didn't have all that money themselves. So what's already open and what's been upgraded? By late 2025, the resort publicly showcased renovations that touched nearly every part of the guest experience. Reports on the project say the renovation included all 451 guest rooms, updates to the lobby and common areas, new and revamped dining, and refreshed meeting and event space across the property. Local access membership is also part of the new strategy. Business reporting on the renovation says Saddlebrook introduced membership options designated to give area residents access to amenities like golf, racket sports, fitness, and dining. What's still coming next? 2 items locals are likely to notice soon are new food and beverage openings and continuing golf construction phases. So in the midst of this, they also kind of reshaped all of the golf courses, which I imagine as a golfer, if you've been playing those for a while, that is super valuable. There is some new development happening in the middle of it, too. Wesley Chapel kind of has this race to who can build a town center. And it kind of happened with the shops at Wiregrass. And then we have these kind of other concrete town centers like the Outlet Mall, which is technically not in Wesley Chapel. Then you have the Avalon Park neighborhood saying they're going to build a town center. They have a couple neighborhoods doing that. And now Saddlebrook Resort is saying that as well, that they're going to bring in more apartments, townhouses, and retail and office space and a pedestrian promenade. So think of, a city, kind of middle of the city, where an area where cars can't go. Obviously very common in other countries, not super common in the U.S. But this would be really cool, and that's really kind of their push to build this town center. So that is Wesley Chapel. Now we got a couple of Walmart stories, which who knew that I'd be talking about Walmart when I started this channel, but it's interesting. It's going to impact the area in kind of a unique way. One of the things, the other one I don't think will impact us that fast. But when I was a kid, we had a Walmart in our town. I grew up in a small town in Oklahoma, and we didn't even have a super Walmart. So whenever I moved away from Cushing, Oklahoma in 2008, that's when the super Walmart opened, and the old Walmart turned into like a farm store. I didn't have that as a kid. That was the store that I would find a way to get lost in, and my mom would have to have someone call me on the intercom and find me. So that's my childhood feelings of Walmart. I've been there probably less since I left in the past 20 years than I ever went in my first 18 years. But Walmart is bringing drones to the Tampa area, and a couple places in Florida are going to get this, and early filings show that the Walmart on Little in Newport Richey, the Trinity area, is going to be one of the first sites. So locally, early filings point to the Walmart neighborhood market near Ridge and Little in Newport Richey as the first Pasco site in line. So that's an interesting one. That's actually really close to my house. And then the bigger Walmart down on Little and 54 is on the docket as well. I don't know if people really want drones delivering stuff from Walmart to their house. I'm really curious how this will happen. Also, in this area where this one would be near Ridge and Little, there's a lot of neighborhoods with small landing strips. So the logistics around it seem like they would be kind of complicated. But I'm curious. So, based on current planning and early site activity, Walmart drone delivery is expected to reach multiple Pasco County locations in the first half of 2026. The Newport Richey area is expected to go first. That's so funny to me. Um, I love Newport Richey. I love where we live. It gets kind of frowned upon by some other areas, so it's funny that we get this first. This with the Little Road and State 54 Road area leading out the rollout. And then Lutz, Hudson, and Zephyr Hills locations are also expected to follow as the program expands locally. I'm curious. I don't know if it's that helpful. Obviously, Instacart delivers stuff pretty fast. If it's that much cheaper or that much faster, yeah, maybe it's kind of an interesting deal. I'm really curious, and I'm excited to test it out, honestly. But next Walmart thing is there's a new Walmart open in Apollo Beach. Now, Apollo Beach, southeast side of the Tampa Bay area, still in Hillsborough County. But Hillsborough County got this brand new 175,000 square foot Walmart opened on January 14th, just a couple of days ago. This store is part of Walmart's Store of the Future concept, featuring improved layouts, expanded product selections, and innovative technology. The store will create 300 new jobs for the area. Is this a sign that Apollo Beach will continue to grow as a retail destination as long as in line with it growing as a residential destination? I'm really curious your thoughts on that. I couldn't say that line very well. I'm excited about the amount of jobs this creates, really more than anything. Now, there's not much in terms of photos online of this yet, but they're doing just more digital stuff. I'm not going to go and read this whole article to you guys right now. I think you understand Walmart's obviously have been pretty dated and kind of behind the look and feel of modern shopping for a long time. So by expanding the lighting, the displays, there's going to be a sushi bar in this one, which is really funny to me. I got to get over there and check it out for you guys. All right, next on the docket, the Tropicana Field. So the race to develop the historic gas plant district and Tropicana Field site is heating up. All of these companies involved with these big proposals and the investment partners are adding major partners to the development as the city opened a 30-day window for competing proposals. This actually got extended longer. And 6 organizations, including Moss Construction, Jacobs, and both county housing authorities, have signed letters of interest to support the Ark Ellison Horace bid, which is the big bid that you guys have seen online with the twisty bridge that goes across the highway. But who do you think will win the rights to transform this 86-acre downtown St. Pete site? Whatever happens to this site will define St. Petersburg in a really, really unique way. It's really right in the middle of town. It's an area that's primed for development. And I'm kind of sad that it's these kind of outside big companies that are kind of seeming to win these bids. I'm curious your guys' thoughts. What do you think should happen to this area? Now, I think the proposals are really cool. I don't quite know what the city needs there. Now, there's obviously quite a bit of a more need for housing. So if this creates a lot more affordable housing, that's ideal. So the city opened a 30-day window on January 4th for competing proposals to redevelop the 86-acre historic gas plant district. Now, we've talked about other deadlines in the past, and they had come up in the middle of December, because whenever this big proposal, this multi-billion-dollar proposal came in, it started a clock. There's 30 days to either approve, deny, or accept another offer or bid for this area. So looking at this, one thing stands out to me, and I'm going to be critical of it very openly. All these people just kind of like work for each other, and they're talking about they're so excited that this Moss company came in, but then Moss owns a part of Ellison, and of course it's all kind of just intermingled, and everybody's kind of making money off of everything, and that kind of bothers me. This $68 billion, this should be a B, vision to redevelop the area is in 4 phases over 17 years with nearly 2,000 affordable workforce and senior housing units, 1,500 hotel rooms, innovation hubs and labs, and more. Here's a quote from Kathy Wood, who's the CEO of ARK Invest, a big kind of innovative investment company. The gas plant district is an opportunity to demonstrate how innovation-led investment can drive durable economic growth. By uniting world-class partners, emerging technologies, and a large-term capital mindset, this project is designed to create new engines of productivity, job creation, and sustained economic impact. But I'm curious, do you guys think it will do that? Comment down below. I'm curious what you think. All right, next here on the docket, we got some new townhouses. This in Oldsmar. So Oldsmar, let me pull up the map actually real quick while I've got you. And let's look at where Oldsmar sits in this area. So very interesting area. You got here, Hillsborough County, big over here, Pinellas County over here. Right here in the middle is Oldsmar. And this is really the county line right here by Tampa Bay Downs. And you have West Chase just here on the other side, Town and Country right here, and then Oldsmar kind of sandwiched here in the middle of it, just south of this big preserve right here. So DRB is building a lot of townhouses, 82 townhouses in the middle of Oldsmar. This is super exciting because Oldsmar's small. A lot of houses flooded during Hurricane Helene. They really need an influx of housing, and I think this will do it. And this is one of the nation's largest builders, is doubling down on the Tampa Bay area. DRB Group, this 21st largest home builder in the U.S., acquired luxury builder Biscayne Homes to accelerate expansion in the Tampa and Southwest Florida markets. Meanwhile, DRB is also involved in the Odin Square development in downtown Oldsmar, 82 townhomes that broke ground in May 2025 near the public library. What does this major builder expansion mean for Tampa's housing market? So, what I think this stands out to me, the way that DRB has come in and bought all these Biscayne homes, and I've showed a lot of those to my clients. Biscayne started building in some of these neighborhoods, then DRB bought them out, finished building out what they had, and then took over their section of these master plan communities. In Parrish, in Land O'Lakes, in Wesley Chapel, kind of in a few different places. And DRB really does build a more modern house than a lot of these builders. We have other great local builders like Homes by West Bay, which seems like a large scale builder, and they are, but they're very much local. They're based out of Riverview. So DRB's involvement in all this is very exciting to me. I think more townhouses in a place like Oldsmar really do open up more affordable options for a lot of people looking to purchase a property. Now, obviously, rates and prices have been high for the past few years, and townhouses are really a great option in the midst of that. I got a comment here. Someone said they sent me an email and they never heard back. I'm curious. I don't want you to put it in here what your email address was, but we don't miss many emails. I'm sorry about that. Curious if you have any questions here, if I could help you right here as well, but happy to reach out to you independently as well. Maybe if you could include your name or something in here, that would help me really track that down. Next, I want to talk about Aldi. Aldi is a grocery chain, German-based, very interesting model, very similar to Trader Joe's. They have some kind of distant family connections to Trader Joe's. And what happens is these companies, they just have a different model for stocking stores and what they stock and how they sell it. A typical grocery store like Publix, I was in Colorado for 10 years, King Soopers, Kroger's, these kind of things. They have, 40,000 items. So you go down the peanut butter aisle and you have, 40 different kinds of peanut butter. At an Aldi or at a Trader Joe's, you might have 4. And that's really their model, is keeping this very lean inventory. They can turn over stuff a lot faster. They can stock it a lot easier. And that's just their model. So Aldi recently bought out Winn-Dixie, which is a big Southeast grocery chain. And they bought out the company that owns Winn-Dixie, which is Southeastern Grocers, who owns Winn-Dixie and Harvey supermarkets across the South. And Aldi announced that, hey, we're going to keep some of these. We're going to convert some of them to Aldi's. We're going to close some of them. So what they do when they convert one, they shut it down, obviously. They reduce the footprint by about half. And then they rent out the other side of it. Now, obviously, whoever owns the strip is going to rent out that other side of it. And then Aldi is, signing a new, longer lease on their spot. Then It takes six to 9 months for them to renovate. They spend $2 to $3 million to renovate one of these into an Aldi. Then they open back up. It's actually really a pretty interesting thing. So a lot of Winn-Dixies are around 46,000 to 50,000 square feet, and Aldi likes to be around 20,000 feet. But there is a new one going in St. Petersburg, as they just keep converting these old Winn-Dixies into Aldis. St. Pete's grocery store continues to... Sorry, let me start that. I'm going to say that again. St. Pete's grocery scene continues to evolve. Aldi is opening its newest location on 4th Street in the Bayview Shopping Plaza, following the conversion of a Winn-Dixie that served the community for 35 years. This marks Aldi's continued expansion across Tampa Bay after acquiring Southeastern Grocers' Winn-Dixie locations. The store underwent a $1.7 million renovation and will offer all kinds of the things that you want at the store. I'm curious your guys' thoughts of Aldi. Sometimes they do feel like maybe kind of a discount store, and I'm curious exactly what you think of that. We actually started using Aldi more and more lately, even compared to Winn-Dixie. There's one a few blocks from our house. Winn-Dixie never had any organic things, which we kind of lean that way. Aldi has quite a bit more of that. Even the Publix near us, once you get into some more like rural areas around Tampa, the Publixes have less organic stuff. So I like to see Aldi here. It actually helps my grocery flow with my family. But curious your thoughts about that. All right, and last here for tonight, we're banging through these tonight. I like it. I want to talk about Clearwater. So Clearwater, we've talked about in the past. We brought up Scientology. We brought up this kind of real estate dominance of the Church of Scientology in Clearwater specifically, and specifically downtown Clearwater. But Clearwater isn't giving up on... Oh, sorry, man. But Clearwater isn't giving up on its vision to transform the main library into a cultural destination. After the first call for proposals yielded no viable submissions, the city is investing up to $140,000 in professional marketing to attract museums, planetariums, or performing art institutions. The 92,000 square foot waterfront building at the edge of Coachman Park presents a unique opportunity for downtown revitalization. Will the second attempt succeed in finding the right cultural partner? Really what they're trying to do is bring some culture and art down to this downtown core near the new redevelopment of Coachman Park, the amphitheater down there, having some kind of museum, having some kind of even acting school, something like that down here in this presence, I think would make a big difference. And they increased their budget. Previously, their marketing budget was $100,000, which includes like consultants and PR and leasing and community engagement. They increased that from $100,000 to $140,000 in hopes to just get this message a little clearer, a little more consistent, and have more strategic communication around it. Cultural partners typically need 9 months to consider proposals and 6 months to 2.5 years to plan and open exhibits. Proposal review planned for the late 2026. Under the city charter, library property can be leased but not sold. Permissible uses include art galleries, cafes, restaurants, and compatible cultural purposes. So something that is for community engagement, for the benefit of the public, and that could really occupy this big space right here on the water, right in downtown Clearwater. That's super cool. I want to wrap up just talking about the market here a little bit, because I think it's super important that you guys have kind of some understanding of what the market is going to do here in the next year, really. And I was reading something another realtor wrote, actually, and I really liked the way he put it. And he was talking about Austin, Texas, and Tampa and Austin have kind of become these similar markets. Now, Austin had a lot more of a boom in the past 5 years than we did. But they're similar in a lot of ways, and how they've grown out. But he referred to the market right now as a gentleman's market. I really like that term, because it really is. Yeah, we both realize we have to compromise a little bit. We both kind of find our way in the midst of this, and we all kind of find a middle ground that works. And that's my experience right now with my clients, both sellers and buyers, that they really do realize that they can't get everything they want. And the more that they are willing to find someone that wants their property if they're selling it, or you know, or vice versa if they're buying. When you can really match up those interests, it really helps make the process a lot smoother. And that's really kind of what we're seeing in the market right now. Now we have a lot more inventory coming up. Even myself, I have a lot of listings coming up this month. A lot of those we were even holding off from listing in the past few weeks because we didn't want to like launch it during the holiday season. Everything kind of slows down, so we're getting those listed right now. Just listed one this morning in Spring Hill, which is more like Land O'Lakes where it is. It goes to Land O'Lakes schools, but it's really a cool listing, really cool outdoor dining area. But listings are coming, inventory is coming back on the market, and buyers are coming back in. A lot of buyers are, happy to see rates really close to that 6% mark, maybe a little bit under, especially if you can buy it down a little bit. But really is kind of a unique market right now, where I think people are gonna buy a lot this year. And I think we've had a couple years of pretty low transaction count. I know we talked about that last week, right around that 4.1 million per year, and we're about to see an increase in that. Now, obviously, I can't tell you the future, and I don't have a crystal ball, but I really do think that is where we're going. As always, we'd love to hear from you guys. Comment to this video, call, text, email, all that's down in the description. But we do these lives really to add value to you. What's happening around your city and the cities around you. I understand if you live in the middle of Tampa, you're not always thinking about Clearwater as your city, but there are some unique things going on all around us, and we want to keep you abreast of those. But as always, thanks for joining us tonight, and we will see you next week. Hopefully no more coughing from me by then. See you guys.